Hi there folks, this is Carroll here, alias the Warrior Unknown, if you've watched any of my videos on YouTube. Now today, in part 3 of our Bags Groove piano tutorial on a 12-bar blues, we're going to learn a couple of basic things we should understand when we go about improvising. You know, the basic way you should start improvising when you're on any tune. So if you've watched the last two parts, part 1 and 2, you'll be familiar with the chord progression and the melody. And this is my right hand, this is middle C, and you'll know that the melody notes that we use in are F, C, B flat, A flat and E flat. Now if you look at those notes, you'll notice that there's like a five finger pattern there, and it forms like a chord, I'm not going to get too much into it, but that chord there is like an inversion. It's like the second inversion, third inversion, sorry, the third inversion of F minor 7, but when you put the B flat in there, it becomes like an F minor 7 with a suspended fourth, and you can play it, you know, in different positions, like so, folks. You see that? So you can play it with a note of C on the bottom, you can play it with a note of B flat on the bottom, and you can play it with the note of A flat on the bottom, and then you're back to F, or you go right down here, you're back to E flat, which is where we started. So E flat's like that, which is the shape that you use when you're playing the melody. Now when you improvise using those notes like that in different positions, you can pick any of those notes and use them in any of those shapes there. That's called vertical improvisation, which is improvising on the melody. So that's what we're going to cover in this video. We're just going to cover that for now, because your melody is your most important part, where you should start when you want to improvise. So as you could see that you've got them shapes. And you're back down there, look folks. So you've got them shapes, you've got E flat, F, A flat, B flat position. So you see, you notice that there's a note of the melody in every position of when you play them shapes like that, folks. So you can play around them shapes there and improvise, folks. And when you actually improvise, you know, you're going to keep your steady left hand going. Your 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, your like so. You know, folks. What you've got to try and do is, whatever note you pick from them notes, from any of them patterns there, them shapes there, try and make a rhythm on the notes. So you know, you might be just doing something like a triplet. You might be going on C, A flat and F. So it'd be going like that, folks. So it's going ba 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 ba, like as if you was hearing a drummer tapping that rhythm. That's how you've got to kind of think in your mind, and then you get a rhythm going in your mind, and then you try and apply it to a group of notes. Basically, that's what's happening when you improvise. But obviously sometimes that's happening really fast and it sort of flows from one phrase to the next. But in a nutshell, basically, that's what you've got to do, folks. So let's just use notes from the melody. I'll start the metronome, I'll play through the melody one time, and then I'll go into some improvising and give you an example of what I mean, folks. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Did you notice there, folks, I was only using notes from the melody and just going picking them from a few of those shapes. I didn't use every single position, but I was just giving you an example of what you can do just with melody notes. So you can just sort of play around with the rhythm, but as long as whatever you play fits and you can keep your left hand going and the timing doesn't slip and the rhythm's okay, almost like as if you was playing a saxophone or a trumpet, where you're going boom, 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 you know, or whatever. Or think of all the instruments. Think of guitars, think of saxophones, trumpets, everything. Drums for your rhythm. Try and imagine all these things when you go to pick out notes when you improvise like that, folks. But that's just the basic way. Now, in the next part, in part 4, I'll show you how you can add to it. You know, using notes from the chords and you know, like, and the chromatic scale and stuff like that, folks. So, if you've got any comments or questions, just leave them below the video, and I'll do my best to answer. And I'm saying, you have a nice day, and over and out, folks. And I'll see you again in part 4 of this video, where we'll continue with more about improvising, folks. Bye bye.